How's it going, guys? Football-ManagerYouthDevelopment.co.uk here. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to make improvements to your tactics on Football Manager 2016. Since playing Football Manager 2016, I have noticed it's been pretty tough trying to find a tactic that works on the game. So my best tips, I think, is just to kind of create a tactic to any shape that you want to use. So my kind of shape at the moment, I've just got a simple back four, three in the midfield, and then three up top. I do like my teams generally to cross the ball quite often, but yeah, I'm not going to talk about sort of team shape or anything. I'm just going to tell you the methods that I use to try and improve my tactics and things that you can take a look at just to make sure that you're doing as much as possible to improve how your team's playing. So if we first go to the squad, what I generally do, if you go to stats and then just click on overall, for example. So what I've done here, I've got some kind of custom screens that I've just created. So if you want to see any additional things, what you can do, if you right click on the bar at the top here and then insert column, and then if you go to stats, you'll see here that there's loads and loads of different stats that you can add in. I'm not going to kind of tell you like things that you should add or, you know, things that you should be looking at. It's completely up to you, but generally the things that I do like to look at is passing percentages. I did say I like to get quite a lot of crosses into the area, and that's really important to me. I do like to make sure that my cross percentages are quite high where possible. I like to make sure my players are tackling often, and also the shot percentages are really high. So really good thing that you can do, especially things like strikers. So I've got a guy here, Piero Mingola. He's my top goal scorer at the moment with 14 goals in 33 games, and I'm really happy that his shot percentage is 55%. So the reason I made this video, I wanted to show you my other striker, is a guy called Ashley Fletcher. Now he has played 18 times, well 18 starts, he's got 8 goals for me, which is not too bad really, but his shot percentage ratio is a hell of a lot lower than my other, well this guy's my winger, and he's actually got a much higher shot percentage than my striker Ashley Fletcher, who I've been playing quite often. So we'll have a look at Ashley Fletcher, and what we're going to have a look here is at some of the things, you know, we're going to have a look at his stronger attributes, and then we're going to take a look at his weaker attributes. So good thing to do, if you take a look at his higher technical attributes, we can see that his finishing's really high, his heading's really high, and his technique's not too bad. He has got good anticipation and he's got good decision making skills. He's got really high work rate, good teamwork, good off the ball, good strength, stamina, pace, and you know, pretty good at his physical attributes. So we can see here that he's actually really good in the air, this guy. Yeah, jumping reach 15, heading 13, got good strength and good work rate. So they're his key attributes. One thing that we need to take a look at now is his weaker attributes. Now I've noticed here that he's got a long shot attribute of 5. One really good thing that you can do, guys, so if you go to reports and then go to analysis, what I'm going to do is just have a look at a game where he's made quite a few shots. Hopefully this will be one. What you can do is you can add in quite a few different kind of games. So I'm just going to generate the match report here, and what this allows you to do is just kind of see where the player is taking shots, and kind of what he's doing. So this one here is quite good, for example. So what I'm going to take a look at, I'm going to get rid of all that. So we can see here that Ashley Fletcher, we know that he's not very good at long shots, but we can see here that for some reason he was taking quite a lot of shots from just outside the area. So I'm just waiting for this highlight to load. I'm just going to pause it really quickly and just speed it down here. So we can see that again, I've put the ball out wide, the ball gets crossed into him and he's forced to take a long shot. Now clearly, you know, like I've already highlighted, he's not got a very good attribute in taking long shots. So we'll take a look at a different one. Hopefully this is a different one from previous. So he passes it into our midfielder, the ball goes into the wing. Now what we can see here, this is my centre midfielder, so my winger Barnby, who's got relatively high, you know, crossing attributes and things like that, he's got quite a few options here. Now my striker Ashley Fletcher is here, and now he's a guy that's going to be taking the shot, but I've got my left winger, my central midfielder, and my kind of more attacking central midfielder all bombing forward. So Barmby's going to cross the ball into the middle. Now Fletcher, really, he should be holding on to the ball. Now I'm having a look at these two guys here, especially Harrison. So Harrison is actually an inside forward, and what I would expect is for him to be kind of cutting across here. But what I imagine is going to happen is that Fletcher's going to take a shot, and to me that is a completely wasted opportunity. So considering Fletcher has only got 5 for long shots, that, you know, he shouldn't really be shooting out there or outside of where he's shooting. You know, if we do stop it here, you can clearly see that these two are completely unmarked at the moment, and you know, I would prefer him to be at least trying to play in these two rather than taking a shot from long distance. So I'll just go back and I'll just kind of show you some of the changes that I have made to Ashley Fletcher. There's no doubting at all that he can put the ball in the back of the net. So you know, he scored 7 goals in 16 starts. So, you know, I can't complain at all, but I just need to make sure that his shot percentage is as high as it can be. So what I have decided to do, I've put him on a new training schedule which refrains him from taking long shots. Now, obviously, I hope he does learn not to take long shots, and the sort of clip that I just showed you where he could have passed it through to my left winger or my central midfielder, hopefully that he'll be doing that a little bit better in future. So just to also back up my kind of thing of him not taking long shots, so he's got a vision of 4, which means, you know, he can't particularly see what's going on around him and on the pitch and things like that. So, you know, although his passing is 8, really this guy is all about kind of gut instinct. He's not always going to kind of see what's going on around him. But yeah, at least if I can minimise the amount of long shots that he's taking, then that should hopefully make sure that his shot percentage is increased. One other just real quick example of the type of things that you can look at just to improve how your team plays. So like I've already mentioned, so I do like my sort of fullbacks and wingers to try and put in a lot of crosses. You can see here that a lot of my assists are coming from my wingers. So Lee Brown, for example, he's got a pass rate of 78%. He's attempted over 300 crosses and a 20% cross rate I'm pretty happy with. Yeah, not too concerned about that at the moment. I think that's not too bad at all. One thing I did check out though, so this young kid here who I got on a free transfer from Arsenal, he has got a crossing percentage completion ratio of 2%. So obviously that's completely atrocious. You know, Lee Brown is usually my normal left back, and this guy can play left back. Unfortunately, he's out injured at the moment. But yeah, Lee Brown is obviously much more better at sort of crossing. He's got decent vision, pretty decent passing and things like that. So you can see why his cross completion rate is a lot higher than this guy here. So what I needed to figure out basically is why this guy's cross completion rate was at 2%. So if I take a look at him, I can see a couple of things really sort of springing out here basically. So his crossing attribute is only 6 and his vision is only 5. So that to me just screams that this guy shouldn't be crossing the ball at all. So obviously I do like to make sure that we're getting a lot of crosses in and things like that, but this guy is just simply not particularly capable of doing that at the moment. So changes I have made, I went to the tactics. Ordinarily when I do have a player in the fullback position, I do like them to in the left or right sort of defensive areas, I do like to have them on the fullback role. Obviously the fullback role, they'll look to support the forward play, and then they'll look to kind of get crosses in as and where they can, and they'll look to also play in through balls. One change that I obviously did need to make to this guy, because he's not very good at crossing, what I've decided to do is put him as a limited fullback. The limited fullback role, again, it's really, really important to make sure that you understand each and every single player role and exactly what it will do. So the limited fullback knows his strengths and weaknesses and focus predominantly on his defensive duties, scarcely going forward into a more attacking role. So yeah, if we have a look, so he's going to be kind of tackling more, which is absolutely perfect. He's got good work rate, really good bravery. Although he doesn't have a lot of strength, but he's got a little bit of pace and acceleration. So they're his kind of like key attributes, and what you need to be doing, guys, is just looking at the key attributes for all your players. Like I just had a look with Ashley Fletcher, where he's only got 5 for his long shots. Again, with this guy, I'm taking a look and he doesn't have very good crossing ability or good vision. So for me, it's pretty much a waste of time. As you see, with his cross percentage ratio of only 2%, it's really not worth, you know, his crosses are just pretty much awful, to be honest. So yeah, it's better for him to just kind of focus on exactly what he's good at. And obviously with the limited fullback, you can see here that what he's going to be doing is taking fewer riskier passes. He's going to be crossing less often. Yeah, he's going to be shooting less often, which is pretty good, obviously, with his finishing and things like that. So what I've done, I've kind of stripped him back into, you know, a kind of role that's going to suit the player, basically. And that's what you need to be looking out for, guys, whenever, you know, just make sure that you're looking at your player stats. And if you do see things like, you know, a particular player, he's not got too much of a high passing ratio, then you need to be having a look at that and figuring out the reasons why. So with my centre backs, they have got quite low percentage pass rate completions. I did actually investigate that, and a lot of the time it is just where they're making sort of clearances and things like that. So I'll just show you as a real quick example, and then I'll call this the end of the video. But yes, good idea to just kind of go into any player. If you do see a kind of percentage that's quite low, so if I click here, we'll take a look at the intercepted passes for this guy. A lot of the time it's just going to be where they're making clearances from like headers and things like this. So obviously what we're having a look at here is one of our defenders. I imagine what's going to happen here, it's going to come straight to our defender. Yeah, so unfortunately there's no one in the middle. So I could actually take a look at that and kind of think to myself, well, why is there nobody in the middle to pick up that loose ball? So again, that's all part of kind of like analysing your tactics. So you can see here that my centre midfielders are actually quite deep. Potentially this guy might have been able to push forward a little bit higher, and then we could have maybe got possession of the ball. But that's predominantly why my 2 centre backs do have quite a lot, well, a little bit lower sort of pass completion rate, because they do make headers like that a lot of the time. I did analyse that quite often, and that is the case like the vast majority of the time. It's a lot of kind of, you know, clearances from headers and things like this. So I'd imagine this is going to be another example of that. So another header from our defender. I'm obviously not too bothered about that, as long as they're kind of dealing with the through balls and things like that. Then I'm happy to do that. I hope this has helped you out, guys. So the main things I think to take away from this video is just to have a look at the player stats. If you do see something that's really, really low, just do try and investigate why it's really low and the kind of things that you can do to kind of improve it. I would also say that if you do kind of have a look at certain things, like this guy, for example, I can see that his tackling ratio per game is actually really high at 4.17. He's got really, really good crossing, well, pretty decent crossing completed ratio. This guy's got 6 assists, 6.99 average rating. So you can see the type of players that you should be playing in your team. You know, if you've got players that are quite clearly doing things well, then you obviously need to be playing them a little bit more. You can improve players to do certain things, and just make sure that you're having a look at this screen and just making improvements where you can. I'm going to call this the end of the video, guys, but thank you for watching, and we'll be back very soon for some more Football Manager videos.